What's up, guys? This is Storm, and welcome to another Gaming News Week. We have a couple of news to go over, so without further ado, let's take a look at the news. Our first set of news is reported by Genki. According to Insider Gaming, the PlayStation 6 will launch with a detachable disk drive. Identical to the PlayStation 5 and its detachable disk drive, customers will be able to buy the console individually as a digital console bundled with the PlayStation 6 as a traditional console, or upgrade later by purchasing the detachable disk drive separately. I saw mixed feelings about this. Some people just want the disk drive to be with the console, but I think the reason why they go in it like this just to cut down on costs, because we're still dealing with the whole thing with the tariffs, and prices of consoles have gone up in the past year. So it's basically what it is most likely just to cut down on costs, unfortunately. And I guess it gives you the option. If you want the disk drive is there. If you play your games all digital, you don't need a disk drive, so you don't have to spend so much for the PlayStation 6. I honestly don't know how I truly feel about it, because when I bought my PS5, I got in the standard one with the disk drive, and I got the PS5 Pro with, and I bought a whole disk drive for it, which is kind of funny. I did that because most of my games is digital, but I like to have the option if I want to get like a physical copy of a game. But that's just me personally. What do you guys say? Are you okay with this, or would you pay for a PS6 no matter the cost? Because I believe this is probably just trying to be cost efficient. If not, there's probably more to this. But as of right now, we don't have like a clear confirmation yet, so take this with a grain of salt until we get to the point when the PS6 is good. Because is a thing. Okay, there's a whole bunch of reports about the PS6, like the handheld, this detachable disk drive. We don't have no clear indication what the PS6 is going to be in general, so take it with a grain of salt at the end of the day. Bandai Namco has graced the Digimon fans with a demo for Digimon Story Time Stranger that is set to release in October 3rd. If you have been on the fence of playing Digimon Story, here's your chance. You're able to play the first, I want to say, couple minutes of the beginning of the game of Digimon Story, and any progress that you make in the demo, you are able to carry it over to the full game when it releases. And also, once you complete the demo, there is another portion of the demo that lets you explore one of the hub areas in the digital world called Central City. So it's, for what I experienced with the game, I truly love it. Even though I'm a Digimon fan and I've been wanting another Digimon story game, this game is a complete night and day compared to Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Hacker's Memory. Probably at some point this week, I will put out my review for Digimon Story Time Stranger and go over like what I like from the game and stuff, and probably show off my Digimon team that I gotten so far. But yeah, if Digimon fans, we are eating good this year, so if you want to give the game a try, I strongly recommend the demo. During a podcast on the Main Mac show, the Ghost of Yotai co-director Nate Fox came onto the show and he was asked a question about potential future for Sly Cooper. You don't know what Sly Cooper is. Sly Cooper is one of Sucker Punch old IPs that was around during the Jack and Daxter, the Ratchet and Clank, the Crash Bandicoot era games. And he was asked, is there like a potential future of Sly Cooper making a comeback? Knowing how PlayStation used their IPs and stuff, once a studio hit a certain, well, I believe hit like a certain milestone, they usually don't go back to an old IP. Like, I believe it's a choice for them, and if they pitch the idea to Sony, they could be like, all right, we'll give you the green light to go do such and such, because that would be the reason why Ratchet and Clank is still going for now. At least we don't know if there's going to be another Ratchet and Clank game, but how Ratchet and Clank have been going on for so long, that's the reason why, I'm assuming, because they had like a whole bunch of games for the PS2, PS3, PS4, and Rift Apart came out on the PS5. We could potentially get another Ratchet and Clank, but it's up in the air at this point. If Insomniac wants to do another one, if they have anything else they want to do for the overall story. But yeah, but he said during the Minimax show, says that only 10% of Sucker Punch Productions will be really excited to develop a new Sly Cooper game. It's been a long time since Sly Cooper come out. So I saw somebody said Sucker Punch have over 100 something developers working there, and roughly only 10% of that group would be excited to make another Sly Cooper game. So, with that in mind, I don't see Sly Cooper coming back. Well, let me not say that. Sly Cooper could possibly come back, but it won't be made by Sucker Punch, if that makes sense. Because it's the same thing with Sony license everybody golf to Bandai Namco to publish it. And I believe the last Sly Cooper game was made by a whole third-party studio that Sony let them make a game for it. So, PlayStation could technically do it that way, license it out for some other studio to make the game, so Sucker Punch won't have to. But it's like a weird situation where it come with that, because the last one is was a mixed bag. Like, people loved it and people hated it and stuff. So it's like you have to be very careful when it comes to stuff like that, because if the people don't like the game, it is wasted money that was used to even try to put this game out there. And how Sony been moving lately, they want to make right investments, so they'll put out the money but make a whole bunch of back in return. But if anything, if Sucker Punch would bring back like an old IP of theirs, me personally, I would say we will probably get a Infamous before we even get a Sly Cooper. Because I looked it up not too long ago. The lifetime sales of the Sly Cooper games is only 3.8 million. And I believe Sly Cooper had 3 or 4 games, and all of them together only did 3.8 million. But for the Infamous games, they were the top selling IPs for the Sucker Punch Studio, and Infamous as lifetime sales as a whole series did 10.8 million. It was over 10 million that they did. But then when Ghost of Tsushima came out, that that beat Infamous, and Ghost of Tsushima only had one installment because Ghost of Yotai is not out yet, and Ghost of Tsushima did more than the lifetime sales of Sucker Punch, of Sly Cooper and Infamous, I think combined, because I believe Ghost of Tsushima is at 14 million total sales right now. And I'll do a quick look at it. Bear with me. Yeah, it said Ghost of Tsushima did over 13 million units worldwide as of September 2024. So, yeah, like, what more evidence do you need? They want to do games that will make them the money. And unfortunately, Sly Cooper just isn't it, especially at this time, especially this day and age, how gamers be moving and stuff like that. Like, gamers will ask for something but will not support it. Say it's the same thing that happened with Gravity Rush, all, basically a whole bunch of games in the past. They will want a certain game to be made again, like for it to come back, and they just don't care for it. And yeah, pretty much they don't even support it. It's like it was like the biggest argument then when it came to Sony shutting down Japan studio. Like, they was screaming from the heavens that why Sony shut them down and stuff. But it turns out they didn't support the games. And even information even came out that Sony was offering money to the head of Japan Studios to make like a bigger game. Like because I believe during Japan Studio he was only making like AA games like Gravity Rush, Everybody Golf, and some other games. They wasn't AAA type of games, like games that people won't consider being AAA, and that was fine. But Sony wanted them to like do more. Like, hey, try to do a AAA game, and he didn't want to do it. So unfortunately, Japan Studios suffered. Like, the studio got shut down, but the developers are still there. They're now a team of Sobi. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, if you gotta ask these companies to make something, at least back it up to support it, because then it just looks bad on everything because you're just blinded by nostalgia. But yeah, I don't think Sly Cooper is gonna come back. If it does, it's not gonna be made by Sucker Punch Studio. Borderlands 4 have released with some pretty good scores across platforms, and overall it's been a pretty fun experience for what I played. I played a little bit of Borderlands 4, got past like the first, probably like a good couple of hours into it where I fought like a big old boss fight that was part of the story. But yeah, it's been a pretty fun experience. Been playing with some friends. We all been laughing, having fun, looting, grinding, all that jazz. And overall, for what I played, comparing it to Borderlands 3, is definitely I'm definitely having a lot more fun compared to what I played with Borderlands 3. And it's mostly because Borderlands 3 main villains, they were just uninteresting to me, honestly. That was most of my gripe with Borderlands 3. It was just the twins were with just bad villains overall. You know, I don't really know much about the villain of Borderlands 4, what I'm up to and stuff. Like how he talks, how he moves, how he interacts and stuff. I definitely prefer him over the twins. I'm hoping the story just keep getting better from here on out. But like I said, I'm still early on in the game, so that could either go up or down at this point. This comes from Sent Potato. Dead Island 3 is seemingly confirmed in development by Dam Buster Studios. In their message thanking Dead Island fans for the franchise's 14th anniversary, they state, Dam Buster Studios are already carving out what comes next. For now, the details stay under wraps. The outbreak is far from over. So, in my opinion, that statement alone kind of pretty much said like Dead Island 3 is their next game that they're busy working on right now. So, yeah, fans for the Dead Island series, it's probably gonna be a while until we see anything from that game. Well, probably not, because when did Dead Island 2 come out? Wasn't that 2022 or 2023 did it come out? One of those years that it released. But they've been steadily working on it and stuff. And how many? And Dead Island 2 sold over 4 million copies as of February of this year. So, yeah, Dead Island 2 came out 2023. So, I guess not bad. Could be better. Yeah, it could be. But overall, not bad for the type of game. Especially, I believe this game was in development for a long ass time, if I remember right. So, I guess like the initial hype for it was already gone when Dead Island 2 was being worked on, because I believe if I'm remembering this right, it was said Dead Island 2 had a long troubled development that took like 12 years. So yeah, if they're able to cut down the time for Dead Island 3, I believe it could definitely sell a lot more better. Because like I believe only zombie it's the only zombie like game that we have. Like, I don't really count Dying Light zombie, because that's more like an infected type of thing. So there's not really a zombie game out there currently right now, if you count the Walking Tales, the Walking Dead type of games. If you count those, then yeah, those would be considered zombies. But I don't recall when was the last time we had a Telltale game of The Walking Dead. But regardless of that, Dead Island 3 could potentially be in the works currently right now. I could probably see it coming out for next gen, and we'll probably hear, depending how long of development they are in, I could see we'll probably get like a little teaser next year. Or by crazy luck, we'll probably get something at the Game Awards, because usually that's where the big announcements happen, at the Game Awards. They're like what we got in the. We got Naughty Dog new game, Okami 2, The Witcher 4. a bunch of other games that we got at the Game Awards. So yeah, so it wouldn't be surprising if that will be the case for Dead Island 3. This past week, Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct showcasing some games that they have coming up for the end of this year and going into next year. I have a list from IGN of all their announcements, but I don't know if this is exactly in order. But with that being said, here we go. On the list, they showed Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Will has officially got a release date for December 4th. This game had been in development for a long time. And it's pretty good that it's finally got a release date coming out the 4th of this year. I honestly thought it probably would got pushed to next year, but hey, I was wrong. Next, they showed off a new Fire Emblem called Fire Emblem Fortune Weave that is set to release next year. DLC coming for Donkey Kong Bonanza, DK Island, and Emerald Rush DLC launches today, and IGN has a video of their hands-on experience, which is nice. I heard the Donkey Kong game is pretty fun. They released a new Pokemon game that is like a sim/farming game, and it is called Pokemon Pokopia. I've seen some people actually call it like Pokemon Animal Crossing. I think that's like the best description for it or what I'm looking at, which kind of makes sense. Next we have is Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 is getting a bundled release, and I have seen mixed opinions about this one, especially these are games that are decade old, some people say, and they're charging, let's see if IGN has a price for it. Let me see. I'm not seeing a price for wow, they're charging $70 for it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no wonder people are pissed. Yeah, that is outrageous. But hey, it is what it is. They also showed off a teaser for the Super Mario Galaxy movie that is set to come out April next year. Chris Pratt is coming back as Mario. Damn it. Freaking Jack Black as Bowser. I can't remember the girl name for Princess Peach. I think this time Yoshi is gonna make an appearance because I believe there was like an after credit showed a Yoshi egg. So yeah, that's what's up. Don't know if it will be a direct sequel to the first Mario Party movie, but I guess we'll see. Yoshi's getting a brand new game called Yoshi and the Book of Mystery that's set to come out spring of next year. Nintendo also have Nintendo recreating the Virtual Boy as a physical item that will support over 14 games on the Switch, and they're charging for the cardboard model $25. Bruh, spending $25 for cardboard, but hey, that's none of my business. Pokemon Legends ZNA, they have showed off 2 new Mega Evolutions for Raichu X and Mega Raichu Y. Honestly, these Mega Evolutions that they've been dropping, like I seen people be like, oh my god, this look amazing. Oh, they cook with this one. some of them be looking straight ass. Like, I don't care what anybody say. That Dragonite one was ass. The Victory Bell was definitely ass. The I can't remember the name of the Pokemon, but the one that supposed to be like a Macho Libre one, that one was cool because like they're it was just like a simple look. They not doing anything crazy like the Victory Bell, like the head, the face is small but the body is big. The freaking Dragonite has big old ears for wings and a long ass tail. I'm like, bro, what is these? But hey, some Pokemon fans will say like these designs are fire. I like them. And they're entitled for their opinion, but I'm also entitled to mine. And I say those Mega Evolutions are ass. Go argue with your mama. They also show off Super Mario Wonders Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Meetup and Battleable Park will release in spring 2026 with new multiplayer fun. Mario Tennis Fever launches February 2026. 38 playable characters, nice decent sized roster. And they also gave praise for the Super Mario 40th anniversary. And they also be hosting a Kyoto Marathon on February 15 next year with a special Nintendo race bibs. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, Age of Imprisonment will unearth ancient truths only glimpsed in Tears of the Kingdom. That is set to come out November of this year. And we'll also have support 2-player split screen co-op supports the game share. Very nice. Hades 2 get its official 1.0 release date for the Switch 2. It's set to come out September 25th. TV mode will run at 1080p with 120 frames per second. Doesn't say what the dock one is. Resident Evil 9 Requiem gets a new trailer that was shown during the Switch 2, also giving it the release date. Set to come out February 27th. And they also confirmed that Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and Village will also release on the 27th for the Switch 2. Kirby Air Riders Amiibo can swap riders, and new Kirby Air Rider Direct was announced. They don't have a date for that yet. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate makes its way to the Switch in January. It comes out January 22nd, which is cool. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined mixes art that blends dorama visuals and Akira Toriyama characters design. So, a remake for Dragon Quest VII coming out February 5th, 2026. Stardew Valley Nintendo Switch 2 Edition adds mouse control, co-op, and more. Overcooked 2 Switch 2 Edition arrives this holiday. One Piece Pirate Warriors come out for the Switch 2 this fall. Human Fall Flat Switch 2 Spring 2026. Monster Hunter Stories 3 will have players soaring through the skies on Rathalos next March. That's set to come out March 13. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection gets a Switch release date, which is December 12th for physically, but October 30th for digitally. Dynasty War Origins comes to the Switch 2 in January. Suka Game Plan brings the hit pose to Switch in a new way. Some of these don't have a release date, so excuse me if it feels like I'm just skimming over them. Storm Lancer needs you to travel to the core of the island. a new game called Storylancers, I guess. It does not have a release date. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. Power Wash Simulator 2. Dang Danganronpa 2X2 is a new version of Danganronpa for the Switch. And no release date. Color plays a crucial role. Papucom? Is that how you say it? Papucom? Linked banner to Spark Mixes. Dinkum has players. Dinkum? What is. Oh, these names. That's coming out November 5th. EA Sports, The Nightmares 3, Persona 3 Reload, and more also head to the Switch and Switch 2. This one they have a list. They got EA Sports FC26, The Little Nightmare 3, Persona 3 Reload, Lego Voyager, Dissidia 7 Complete, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake, Virtual Fire 5 Revo World Stage, 2 Point Museum. All those are set to come out for the Switch. I don't see these got a release date. But a lot of games coming out for the Switch, which is pretty good. Some coming for some of these games are coming out to close out for the Switch 2 this year, and they got a couple of games already coming out for next year, which is all very nice. So are you, or any of these games, are you planning to pick up on the Switch? Or if you have played these games already, are you going to pick them up again just to have the option to play on the go? Let me know what you guys think of it altogether. PlayStation had like a investor report meeting talking about their future plans for the PS5 and PlayStation in general when it comes to their music, anime, movies, gaming division, this, that, and the third. And the thing they talk about for their gaming stuff is they are going to be focusing. They have 3 pillars that they focus for the PS5 when it comes to making progress. One of them is PS5 hardware unit sales globally, the PlayStation monthly active users, and the total gameplay hours. Those are the ones that they are looking at to justify if the console is a success, which have people happy, because before they kind of sound like they were switching up their portfolio, how they was gonna do it, but it looks like they're just it looks like either plans change and this could be their main focal point going forward. Not only that, they also showed the major release lineups through the years that they had with the PS5 launch, and they show what would be their next main big focal release games. And this is how the list look. As you can see, they said they will continue to release major titles through strong franchise and new IP. So in 2021, they have Horizon Forbidden West and GT7. 2022 with God of War Ragnarok. 2023 with Marvel Spider-Man 2. 2024 was Astrobot, and this year is Ghost of Yotai and Death Stranding 2. And now they're showing, after Ghost of Yotai release, their next main focus of big franchise release is going to be Naughty Dog new IP, which is the Intergalactic, their Heretic Prophet, and Insomniac Marvel Wolverine, which have a lot of people excited because now we could potentially start getting info stuff for Marvel Wolverine, because we haven't seen nothing about this game since it first got revealed in 2021, which I believe the cause for that is the whole a data breach that Insomniac suffered 2 years ago, which I believe restarted the whole development of Wolverine because basically stuff got leaked and all that jazz. Even though Insomniac says some of those info from those reports are old, I do believe they probably had to rework some things and stuff because basically most likely the whole plot got leaked. So we just gotta wait and see how that turned out and stuff. But I am truly excited for both of these games. Even though I don't know much about the Intergalactic that Naughty Dog is doing, but I'm looking at their track record and they do make some really good games. I like the Last of Us series, I like Uncharted, and I like Jack and Daxter. And Insomniac, bro, they made the best Spider-Man, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man game. Some people will probably say Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire movie one, is still up there, which I do agree, it's still up there. But I believe Insomniac made the best Marvel hero game thus far, and I strongly believe they will knock it out of the park with Wolverine. So, and speaking of Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, we had like a statement from Neil Druckmann talking about it, and this is what he had to say. This from Genki. He said Neil Druckmann says intergalactic gameplay will be an evolution of all the games they have made before, and people will be pleasantly surprised by it. You could look at our previous title. You see the evolution of going from Uncharted, where we really cutting our teeth on realistic character action game, third-person shooter, combined with the emotional storytelling. With The Last of Us, we added some RPG elements. We started playing with wide linear layouts. Continue that trajectory forward as sci-fi, and you start to get the sense of what we're doing. And then we're gotten even more ambitious than that. So really looking forward to see how it all comes together. I think you're all going to be pleasantly surprised by it, which does sound very promising because, as he said, Naughty Dog tend to push what they do before and add more stuff to it. Yeah, when it came to Last of Us, they had the whole RPG element. Uncharted, they got into the whole character face design and all that. So when they got into the PS3 generation, once they basically stopped doing the Jack and Daxter and they started doing Uncharted, which was their new IP, they started getting into realistic faces of character design and storytell with third person shooting aspect. But they truly got into emotional storytelling when the last of Us came out, which was in 2013. And now they're trying to incorporate what they did with Uncharted and The Last of Us and combine that into Intergalactic, but throwing in with a little sci-fi into it. So that basically the sense what he got. He combined two gameplays, two gameplays and storytelling from two different franchises, and try to bring them into this new IP, but adding on top of it of being a sci-fi world this time around, which am very curious how that could turn out in the end. So I could probably see we'll probably get another look of Intergalactic if the Stay and Play rumor is true. If not, that I could potentially probably see it at the Game Awards. That's also another possibility that we could get a reveal. Well, not really a reveal, but more detail about it. We're gonna end off this video from a very credible source judging how people are talking about them. This comes from MP First. They talk about ongoing rumors that's going around with Marvel Wolverine and the potential Venom game that was leaked being worked on at Insomniac, but we never got clear confirmation of that being the case. But it turns out that from their insider source, and by the looks of it, they are credible, they have talked about that is actually still in the works. Originally, it was supposed to come out around, the leak says something about like a 2025 release. Then the rumor said it was going to be 2026, but it turns out Insomniac and PlayStation decided to switch it to have Marvel Wolverine come out in 2026 and the Venom game to be pushed to 2027, possibly a launch title for the PS6, just like how Miles Morales was. But the bullet point that they said about Marvel Venom is that it's still in development, likely in pre-production, similar to Miles Morales in size and scope. Eddie Brock is the lead this time. Eddie is similar to the comics version. That kind of like a wide phrasing of it, like which comic book version of Eddie Brock are we talking about? Cletus Cassie, Carnage is the villain. Anti-Venom comics to appear, likely appear in 2027. And apparently, it was said they was talking about bringing Miguel O'Hara, which is Spider-Man 2099, into this. That's low key. That's kind of crazy if Miguel makes an appearance, because, of course, if you play Marvel Spider-Man 2, you did saw we had like a teaser of Into the Spider-Verse when you did the whole collection going after all the different Spider Bots, and Miguel O'Hara was name dropped in it, depending if you were Peter or Miles, and basically it was a tease of Into the Spider-Verse. But if Miguel O'Hara somehow make an appearance, that, woo, I know a close friend of mine that would be excited about that. But going off with from the article from MP, I'm not gonna read the whole thing for it. I will post a link in the description in case you want to look at it for yourself. It says the clear movement happening behind the scenes make us wonder about the current state of the project, like Wolverine and Venom. But fortunately, we receive updates on both. Someone familiar with the situation confirms to us that Wolverine will stick to the 2026 scheduled release seen in the leaks, and that Venom project remains in development. Additionally, we have also managed to gather some extra details about Venom based on the information we come across. They said the most important information we received from our main source is that Wolverine is still on track for 2026 release. Venom has been in active development. While we haven't been able to determine how advanced the Venom project is, if we assume Wolverine remains priority, it is likely the game is still in pre-production. There are also some details from the story that we got from a different source, but since we couldn't verify these, we recommend that these tidbits will be grain of salt. One of these will be that Eddie Brock will take the protagonist role. This might seem obvious to some given that it happened to the last user of the symbiote in Spider-Man 2. Still, it helps us to rule out the possibility of other symbiote users taking the lead, such as Flash Thompson, who was Agent Venom in the comic books. Or even an original character. We also know that, at least visually, this Eddie Brock will be closer to this comic book counterpart, more so than his live action rendition played by Tom Hardy in the Venom films. So yeah, I did like the design of Venom in the Tom Hardy movie. His personality was definitely too goofy for Venom, but yeah, it is what it is. On the topics of characters, the Venom game will also see the return on Cletus Cassie as Carnage, who previously leaked as the main villain of the game based on the internal slideshows from the breach. Additionally, Anti-Venom will be featured, but not the version controlled by Peter Parker. Now there's a clue. We're not getting the anti-Venom version, what Peter is able to control. We're getting the comic book, I guess, accurate version of the anti-Venom. Instead, we would see the more monstrous looking version of the comics that Eddie Brock eventually uses. As with Peter Parker and his struggle with Venom, Eddie can maintain total control over his persona with anti-Venom. So this could play a significant role in the story. Alright, so instead of like Venom being like a mindless monster that Eddie Brock we've seen him use, with the anti-Venom, Eddie Brock is able to control the Venom side. Okay. And the final note, we also come across some clues that suggest that Insomniac is currently working to include Miguel O'Hara, also known as Spider-Man 29, in one of their projects. While we don't know if it will be in the Venom, it's more likely this will relate to Spider-Man 3, as some may remember the multiverse was hinted as throughout the mission. I already spoke about that, but the leaked cancelled DLC did include it will be expanded upon. So, yeah, it just go into more stuff I talked about the game link, similar to Miles Morales. Wolverine was shown during the business presentation until that showed the fiscal year of 2026. Yeah, they said based on business presentation from Sony in June, Wolverine won't be released until at least the start of the fiscal year of 2026, which begins April. So most likely we'll start seeing the marketing rollout by April next year for Wolverine, and potentially be a fall release date, which kind of goes hand in hand how Insomniac released the Spider-Mans. Like Spider-Man PS4 will release on September. Miles Morales was released during holiday Christmas for the launch of the PS5. Spider-Man 2 released in October. So yeah, that's like in line how Insomniac works. But with all that being said, take everything that was said as a room with Eddie Brock, Anti-Venom, Miguel O'Hara. Take all that with a grain of salt, since they could not verify if that is true or not. We won't. They said we won't see anything about this Venom thing anytime soon. But they said, however, the fate of the symbiote spinoff remains to be officially confirmed. So, with that being said, I'm going off. People said these guys are credible. They do have some credibility to their name. And it's kind of funny because I saw some people say when leaks happen with stuff like this, they don't get credited. So I'm giving credit to MP first to putting this out. And I will post a link to their article so you could go through it yourself. But if this turned out to be true, then Insomniac is really cooking. If this turned out to be true, we have yet to see, but I'm excited regardless. So, what do you guys think? Are you guys excited for Marvel Wolverine? Are you excited for the potential release of this Venom spin-off game? Are you excited everything that was shown on during the Nintendo Direct? Leave me your comment in the description below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I'll catch you later. Peace out.